Okay, so you should be able to see my stats of the storm now.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Because there are a few things that we can already see here, which is why I want to start here.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for the starting point, if we talk about when you picked your hero, I actually think that the Uther is a really good pick here. It's just unlucky that you picked it with Ming, but after the Blaze Malf Valor opener, the Uther is an insanely good pick. And this draft should be very good for you. But so now the question is, given this draft, what is your role in the comp? So if we look at your 5 heroes against the enemy's 5 heroes, what is your job?
Is that a rhetorical question, or do you want me to answer?
Yeah, no, I want you to answer that.
Okay, so
Because the thing is that in the first minute already we see exactly this going wrong. So
all right. Okay, so I saw they have a lot of CC, so I thought Uther was good because I can provide armor and cleanse.
yeah, no, I don't mean why you
Ah, right,
picked
right.
it. I mean, given these 5 heroes against these 5 heroes, what is your place in this team comp?
Ah, right. Well, I want to make sure that Vala never dies.
Yes.
Um,
So protect the Vala. That is the very important step one.
mhm.
What else except protecting Vala?
Well, I want to prevent them from blowing up anyone on my team, and I want to never be the target myself because I can cleanse myself.
Okay, that is one of the points. Yes. So
Mhm.
you want to protect Vala. You want to not make yourself a target. There is one more thing that I want to make sure here. What do you use your CC for? Are you trying to be proactive in this comp, or do you use your CC for peel? Like, what is the plan?
Well, I should use it for peel because I can not step up far enough without getting stunned, and I should just stun the noob or something when he goes in.
Yeah. So the thing about CC is the question: if I stun someone proactively, are we going to kill them? And given that you
Mhm.
have a Malf and a Vala, you usually play fights slow. There was something here. Yeah. So the game was very equal for a very long time, but yeah, this is one thing that I noticed that I wanted to talk about. I think there was the chatting. So this kind of early saying things. It sometimes it's for people uh, not too great. So for example, the Malf, you can tell that he's typing a lot of like weird shit in the chat. So
Yeah, and
I would try to not talk to him because you're not going to do yourself a favor.
yeah, I swap between turning off the chat entirely and getting baited into typing random shit, and when I get tilted, it's never a good thing.
Yeah. So I would suggest that if this kind of thing happens, to just turn the chat off. But okay, let me go to the game.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have
Wait,
established. Wait,
yep,
just yeah.
no,
Okay, so we have established the things that you want to do. You don't want to make yourself a target. You want to protect Vala. You want to use your CC for peel. You don't want to be proactive with stuns. There is one more thing, and that is the vision game. So,
mhm.
in this game, how do you want to approach vision? Or is that a question that you've not thought about?
Well, I haven't really considered it. Only that in the game, I noticed when we don't have the cams in the middle, I don't really know how to approach it actually.
Yeah.
Because if I face check, I'm always afraid of to just get CC'd to death.
Yeah. So it's one of the things about Uther comps that which is why it's like rough to call him a tank, because you're not the one who can proactively check.
Mhm.
So you need either Malf to press W or you need Vala to walk in front of you, but you can basically never walk walk into them. But so once you get into a position, for example this bush, you can stay there and hold the angle. So wait, actually we should watch this from your perspective. Okay. So this, for example, here is the first thing already going wrong. You are making yourself a target.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is still fine. Nothing went wrong. There's actually two things here about the comp that I wanted to talk about instead of the storm, but forgot. And that is quests and goals and fights. So you can see that this is a game where your team has a bunch of quests, and the other team basically has only Kel'Thuzad questing. Let's say is your level 1 quest, is this important to stack?
Well, I mean, it's nice to have, but I guess I should not go out of my way to just step into damage and stack it. Yeah,
it's not.
I definitely.
It's not overly relevant. No. Let me just train of thought. Is the Vala quest important?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Since she is our hyper carry.
Yeah. So the way you want to approach the level 1 is you want to enable Vala to stack her quest, and that is a very important train of thought. Also, the Kel'Thuzad, is his quest important?
Yeah, I mean I never played him, but he really needs the spell power.
He needs the quest really. So in the level 1 fight, you have to go. So for example, are you trying to kill people at level 1? No, you shouldn't. So what are you actually trying to do at level 1? You're trying to get Vala stacks, and you're trying to not feed the Kel'Thuzad. And that's what you have to think about, which is why this walking up and being way too far in front, why that doesn't work. Because you see, you give him a chain, you give the and this whole problem is just that you're positioning in a place where you should never be. So for example, right now you could be sitting in a bush, you could even be sitting in the back. If they go on Vala, you can always throw your spells on her. Yeah, there's also one thing about Uther specifically. Your Q and your W, if you're trying to heal an ally, they're always also going to heal you. So you don't want to throw them just for one person. You want to use them in a way that multiple people use them. So in this situation, there was no reason to press Q on yourself. Just go to the specific moment. Malf puts a concept thing. You have 2 supports on your team. What is the role of Malf in this double support?
Sustain heal?
Yeah. So Malf is sustain, and what is your job?
Burst heal.
Yeah. So this early fight happens. Malf gives you a Q. Just want to see. Yeah, he has only the Q on you. Why would you press Q on yourself?
No reason.
Yeah, really. You're not using the armor. They're not really hitting you. You get 1 stack out of this. The Malf would have healed you anyway. Uther actually has a pretty high mana tension, so you really don't want to just waste your healing, and also throwing your W at the opponent as potent.
Yeah, that was useless.
That is not a thing, no. You can throw it at the wave. For wave clear, you can throw it at your own wave to anti-push, de-push. You can throw it at your allies to heal them and give them armor, but basically just at the enemy, that's just not a thing. Let me quickly make sure that I'm correct, that I'm recording the correct scene. Yes. Okay. So this, for example, why would you auto attack the wave? What are you trying to do?
Well, I guess I was in the mindset of another tank who can actually stay there and do more than just be useless.
That's the big part of the problem with Uther, that you have to understand your part in the team comp. There's one thing that I thought that might be going on here, because it is the tank's job to pick up the region globe, but you're not hitting the region globe minion. It is your job in this comp to pick it up. So, but the problem is you cannot stand long in the wave. You can basically only step up when the globe is already taken. But okay, we've seen this. There's not really a reason to tap here. So, where do you want to be on the map right now?
The samurai camp spawns in 6 seconds, so I want to ping it and go there.
Yes. So you want to make sure that Vala goes here, and you want to help her to do it. So if you're low health and low mana, and you want to be here anyway, and basically the carry that you're protecting is in base, there is just no reason for you to not base. Also, you're walking into the Kelf Wizard and feeding him stacks. The Kelf Wizard could have had almost no stacks, like your Vala, but instead he has 6.
I think 5 of the stacks were from me.
Yeah, I mean also the 6 stack on Vala with the chain. He only got that stack because he hit you in the first place, so that's kind of also your stack. Actually, talking about quests, does sadism matter?
Well, that depends on the build, right?
Yeah, but would you say? I mean, we know what build he's going. He is he's not evil. So the question that where I'm going with this is your trade. As Uther, there are times where you want to die. And the question that I'm asking is, if you're playing against Alarak and he gets sadism from your devs, would you still not die?
Well, I mean, I shouldn't die without a reason anyway. So if we win the fight, I should die. But otherwise, I should make sure I don't needlessly feed him.
So what I mean is, you shouldn't worry about sadism.
Okay.
If the fight plays out in a way that you should die, you should still die, and just not worry about it. Talking about you want to ping the camp. Nobody has pinged the camp. Neither of the two teams. I don't think. No. So. Okay, so looking at this moment, is that okay? This you walked in for the stacks, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fine. The Kelf Wizard doesn't do any damage yet, so you can do this kind of stuff. But is there overall a reason to be walking up this far?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So this is the division problem. This is also a theme somewhat. You should be really careful letting being in range of the Anub going on you, and you should also be careful of the Alarak hiding. Because while you didn't die, this is 4 more stacks for Kelf Wizard.
Yeah.
It's also just this did not have to happen. Okay, so I see that you're auto attacking the wave. Do you think you should be doing this?
Not really.
What should you be doing?
Well, pinging the camp and going there. Or at least like stand in the bush or something, because I just saw them leave my field of vision.
Yeah.
So they might be doing whatever.
The vision play is always one important thing to think about as a tank. So if we look at the situation, you see the Alarak has been playing towards this direction, the Anduin is playing in this direction. You want to see where they're going, because the good play or like unexpected play could be that they're going here. They could also be doing this camp. So now, given that they've left towards this direction, where should you go?
Well, upwards in the bush, because I think at this time I thought they would do the samurai.
Yeah, but so what I'm trying to get at is there a chance that there's a Keifuzat in the bush? Keifuzat, is there a chance that there's a who could be in the bush? So if you're going to check a bush and there's a chance that there's somebody in there, and you have less than half health, is there a chance that you're gonna die walking into the bush? So it's not unreasonable if you want to check this camp that you have to walk this way, because there are no bushes to ambush you from. Because actually the same thing that happened here with the Alarak could just happen. So I think it's either you have to immediately walk into here before they have a chance to be in the bushes, or you have to walk the safe way, but this is super risky.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back a bit to the start of that fight. Do you think that your positioning is correct in this moment?
No, not at all. Because Malf should not be so easily a target without me being in range to do something.
No, but the point is, Malf fucks his positioning up. That's not your fault. Your positioning is actually correct. You should be in this kind of position anyway, because what are your goals again? Your goals are to protect your team, to heal them, and your goal is to not make yourself a target. So if we look at it from their perspective, you were not a target, but then you walk too close to the Malf, and that's why you make yourself a target. But being in the back of the fight and having your team take their CC for you is exactly what you want to be doing. It should be Vala, it shouldn't be Malf, but that's not really what it's about. It just cannot be you.
Estoy renovada.
Selecciona un talento.
Bien hecho.
¿Hay alguien ahí?
El despliegue de carga.
Me largo.
Escolten la carga.
Tan bueno que arde.
Yeah, so I mean we're just seeing the same thing again, that you're just walking into them, making yourself more a target than you should. Your Vala is playing incredibly passive. She has almost no stacks. This is really bad.
Well, I think it's also because just that my rank people don't know or aren't used to double support, so it was maybe a mistake to try and pull it off.
Yeah,
in draft.
That's a big part on these Uther double support comps, that they're really hard to play. Okay, so this is again what I meant earlier with the positioning. So Malf fucks his positioning up. Like he goes too deep. This is not how you do it. But so, given that he positions like this, right now, are you able to help him?
Yes. I mean, he is in range of my spells.
Yeah. And what do? You walk further in, and you make yourself a target. So you want to still play at the edges of the fight. You don't want to walk in the middle of it and get hit by random AoE, or make yourself a target too.
So I did over prioritize stunning the ETC who slid into my team. Because that's why I wanted to step up, I think. Given that I actually stun him.
Let's just go to the specific moment.
Yeah, so he slides in, and I thought, half health, we can focus him.
So the thing is, you're walking very far to the left for that. You could pretty much be standing on further to the right, because you always have to think about Keifuzat. What is Keifuzat going to do?
Yeah, he has
you cannot be the one who gets hit by biased chains. So you always have to make sure that either between you or him there is someone, or between the target that he chained and you there is someone. So in this moment you should be standing here. So the stun is not wrong, but you're positioning for the stun, because the stun can't see it, but it has a bit of range. It's not melee. I think it has like 2 range or something. And you can move away after the stun.
Yeah, makes sense.
Así se hace.
Okay. See, for example, this in this fight, do you think you could have found a way to use your E?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think so. So
right, because the stun travels over the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, because the problem is the blaze is blocking. So I think this is actually this is correct, because you have to keep this kind of distance. Because if your team can win the game for you, you don't have to do anything. In that sense, you're the bailout. You only come in if your team does something wrong. Changes a bit at level 10 with shield, but then your team still has
not with my shields.
Oh. Okay, here is one problem. So
yeah, I stayed too long in the camp, right? Because my team already moves on.
Yeah. So I think what you have to notice is, so if you remember, what are your goals? Your big goal is protect the Valor. It's generally bad if the 2 healers are together split from the fight.
Yeah, makes sense.
So this isn't. Yeah. So the camp, if your damage dealers don't want to hit the camp, you can't force it. I actually want to go back and look at Q usage, because I have a problem with this level 4 talent. I think it is bait to try to hit the enemy with your Q, because you're a support. You should be healing your team. So
yeah, I tried to demount people, but I YOLO it away pretty often.
That is outside of fights.
Yeah, true.
But so, for example, right now, this Valor positioning, this might look very aggressive. I think it's perfectly fine. What are you queuing here? Oh, you're queuing the Anoop. Yeah, that's definitely not it. Because the Valor, if you get your Q on her, 500 more health. How do I? 500 more health plus the armor. She would be over half health with your Q, and she would be able to continue the fight. Which is why, if this Q had been on Vala and not on Anoop, that is how you want to use it.
Buen trabajo, esa nación.
Just wanted to see that you actually tap, because you have the mana problem. So in this kind of situation you should definitely tap. So here we have a awareness problem. So you're focused on the camp, but that's really you should view Uther as a support hero, so you should always look at your team. This kind of solo hitting the camp, this doesn't exist. I don't think even on a different tank you would ever do this. It's just wrong. Because your Malf, the moment he gets chained in, if you can't cleanse the chain, you can still cleanse him when he's in here, and he might be able to walk it out, because he survives really long with only your Q.
Yeah.
So it's funny that the Malf complains about it, because it's really, the problem is not Kel'Thuzad, the problem is just that your team is not using your tools against Kel'Thuzad.
Me vendría bien algo de ayuda.
Carga enemigo.
Así se hace.
Okay.
Recobro las amenazas eliminadas.
Estoy lista para continuar.
So, for example, I think that this fight you mostly played correct. Did not play in a way to make yourself target. Use cleanse well.
Estoy curada.
You don't really want to do these Qs on Ming, because you don't want to be the sustain healer.
Mm-hmm.
So also here again we have a W for damage.
Yeah.
So in this moment, I know it looks tempting to press Q on Ming, but you would keep your Q and throw it on. Should probably throw it on Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Excelente.
Hemos vencido.
Buena sanación.
Sanación sin fin. Deberíamos capturar este campamento mercenario. Parece que les vendría bien un poco de ayuda.
So, what is one thing to look at is does everyone have to be going to the camp? For example, is there a way that you could pick this wave up?
Yeah, I should just continue going bot to get the globes.
This wave is actually in
the XP globes.
This wave is actually in a really shitty state.
I meant just the globes floating around on the right side.
Oh, these ones don't matter. That's where like discount globes, like the after 6 seconds, they don't matter.
Oh, right. Okay.
If you think about XP, you basically you can basically forget about small globes altogether. They don't exist. They don't do shit.
Okay.
The question was just more if you should catch the wave that was here.
Well, if we have the vision camp, and I guess because there's less options for them to gank us.
What I meant is that instead of so does your team meet you here? Is there a reason that that you're here instead of here?
Not really. I guess I thought since Malf isn't there, it's good to have a healer to top off my team, but that's not really my job, I guess.
Or should it have been the other way around, that Malf only went bot because you didn't go bot? So that's
makes a lot of sense.
That's very hard to say for me, because you don't know if he would have joined the team, if not.
But it would have been my job to actually get this, and not his. Mm-hmm.
It's very risky for the Malf. So is there a reason for you to be in their vision? So
not really.
What is this? Yeah. So hiding is really good to find something. So this was what I was talking about earlier with vision play. Even though you have this vision camp, the vision camp is you can still sit in the bush to stay off the map if you're not doing anything here. Throwing your W or auto-attacking this.
Okay, I wanna say I wanted to bait the samurai to not chop our wave, but well, actually that would have been better because it's harder for them to get the XP.
Yeah, it would have denied them XP, but it doesn't. there was not really a reason to show. You could already have rotated up.
Selecciona un talento.
Play towards your blaze.
Será útil.
Not your pace.
So actually, talking about this situation, here you're going for a proactive stun. Do you think here that it's realistic that you get this kill?
Yes, because I see them on the minimap doing our vision camp, and we are 5 versus 1.
Okay, so there is a reasonable chance you get the kill. Is there a chance you might need your E for peel in the next 10 seconds? No, because
not if we get the kill. Not if we get the kill, definitely not. I don't.
It's an ETC. There's no chance you're gonna need it for peel. So.
Well, I meant I wasn't quite sure how long it would take for them to rotate up.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is, in this case, these two questions are very obvious, but these are basically questions you have to ask yourself every time you're going to use an aggressive E.
Okay.
Yeah. So here it works, but now the question is, where do you go after?
Me vendría bien algo de ayuda.
So, do you think it's valuable to get this camp when they're pushing bot?
Not really, no.
What else could you be doing?
Well, rotating bot.
Or there's two options.
Well, okay, we could also push.
You have the base trade option and you have the defend option. Just checking the notice cave wizard. That's not the same thing. So doing this camp in this moment, it's a waste of time. You take structure damage you didn't have to take.
Así aprenderán la lección. Un poco de ayuda. Sean parte del vacío oscuro. Sean parte del vacío oscuro.
Okay. So talking about positioning, how does the ETC stun work?
It slides through people.
Yeah. So he moves in one direction. So what does that mean for your positioning?
I should not line up perfectly for him to get multiple people.
Yes. So the moment you step in line with Malf, that's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two more things I want to look at this fight. One, how do you use your D shield? How do you use your turret? Like how do you use your buttons? And the second question is, should you die to make sure that you win the fight? Because see, the Malf in the middle of their team stunned by the ETC, but you're there to protect the Malf. So this is what I meant with as long as you're not the one getting caught, you can bail pretty much everyone else out, even if it's the Malf. Okay. I did not notice that the Anduin had this ult. So what is the reason for this ETC stun? It's a you're trying to kill him stun, right? You're not peeling in this moment.
No.
So if you're going for this kind of stun, what are the two questions you have to ask yourself that we had earlier in the top lane? Is there a chance that we're going to kill him? And will I need it for something else later? So what do you think? These two questions, what is the answer in this fight?
Well, I definitely did not count the cooldowns, but I guess if my DPS would focus him the moment I stun him, we could, but they're not in a position to follow up really, especially not with that low health, I guess.
Yeah, so the pools are not looking good. So you should.
Oh no, my D shields.
Should not be. Yeah, okay. I mean the D shield. I have no idea what this is. It's very panicky.
Yeah. I don't even know if any one D shield I did anything this game.
Okay. So here we have another Q at the opponent. Yeah, okay, I mean the D shield is just incredibly random, but so in this specific comp it's awkward with D shield because usually D shield you want to be proactive, and the easiest option I see is with strafe, but oof, I mean it is rough this game. I think it's very legit to just not play D shield, but just play Storm instead, especially for tank, because if you're not going to use proactive D shields, then there are no defensive D shields.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Well, I thought of going D-Storm, but I also thought the moment I'm in D-Storm range, I'll probably also be targeted by a lot of CC, so I thought I could not reasonably get it off.
No,
but I guess in the middle of a team fight I could do it.
As a peel tool.
Alright.
So what I mean is, Anubarak eat in, you press your E on him, the Anubarak died. Wait, he died. So you shouldn't think of D-Storm as, oh, I'm going to run into the middle of the team and I'm going to stun 4 people. It is literally just, oh, one of them went too deep. I CC him when he goes in. Because your E is, I think, 0. Oh no, it's 1 second. And D-Storm is 1.75. So between these two, you have 2.75 seconds CC chain. And with Benediction, you have a 3.75 CC chain on a single target.
Yeah, I guess I still think of the ults the wrong way, where D-Storm is the aggressive one and D-Shield the defensive one, but that's not quite how I should use them.
The thing is that both of them should be aggressive, but in their own... Well, basically, D-Storm punishes mistakes, and D-Shield allows you to go more aggressively. Yeah. So this specific fight, I'm not gonna go back and ask the question in the moment, but trade value. This wasn't a fight where you should have died. The fight was already looking good enough without it. So in this kind of standoff scenario, it makes sense to press Q on the opponent because it's similar to the question we asked with E. You should only be pressing Q on your opponent if pressing Q on them is going to do something. So, for example, dismounting them, or some healers also just cannot deal with the poke. Karazim, for example. And you always have to ask the question: do I need it on an ally in the next 5 seconds? 6 seconds. 6 seconds. And in this kind of situation, it's unlikely that you're going to need it on an ally in the next 6 seconds. And that's why it's correct. Also here talking about vision play. Is there a reason to not be in the bush?
No, not really.
I mean, there is one reason. And that's the car.
Well, now they might invade and I don't see anything that they're doing.
So the problem is stepping on this side of the bush. Because now you have a very hard time getting back into the bush if they try to. If the Alarak just walked into it, could have been spooky for you to walk back into it. Yeah, so this is a problem of this shouldn't be. You can never be the target, right? So.
Yeah, I should have just stayed in the bush and not tried to dodge everything.
Yeah, I mean, given how spooky they are with the bush, it's even. If your team is too far away, it's even risky to be in the bush. Okay. Just want to look at if you're using your heals, because the other team gets baited here, because if you look at their cooldowns, Kefuzat used his base kit, Alarak used his base kit, and you're an Uther. You have a window now for 8 seconds where your team can actually still fight this. Just here, yeah.
Estoy renovada.
You really want to think about the armor when you're in trade form, by the way. So you really want to heal the target right before it takes damage.
Mhm.
If it's not full health. Of course.
Lo siento. Hemos perdido un fuerte.
Yeah, I need to work on that because right now I'm mostly just spamming Q on whatever's in range.
Yeah. So one of the things you have to know about armor is that armor makes health more effective. So the value is not in the armor, but the value is in the total health. So you want to there has to be health behind the armor.
Mhm.
So you really you don't just want to, when a target gets hit, you also want to make sure that the heal matters, but you want both to matter, is what I mean. It should never be only one of them. One exception is if you play Guardian of Ancient Kings, because then sometimes the armor, basically the talent only, the armor has to be so good that it wins for this talent to be the pick. But I wouldn't play it, but that has been an exception in the past. So here is again the question, why are you here in frontline?
No reason.
Are you doing something that the Blades couldn't also do? Wouldn't it be better to position here? Would it better to be here?
Yeah.
Is there a reason to not be mounted? So if you're pressing Q on the enemy team to dismount them, it's fine to not be mounted. But for example, this is so right now it's risky because you don't have vision here, and there is a chance that you know that you're in the bush, so they could just blind throw stuff at the bush. But in general, this positioning is correct. Oh wow.
Yeah, I reacted way too late.
Yeah, no, I mean that he just... Yeah? Right, actually, why did you use your E? Oh, you misclick your E on a minion, I think.
Oh no.
Okay, I mean that's just a mechanical error, like that I don't have to point that out. Okay. Do you think that was a good D shield?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, I think I saw strafe and I thought D shield strafe is good, but then I was not quite in range and I reacted way too late.
Okay.
For it to make sense.
Do you think that there was a better moment in this fight to use D shield?
Yes.
Yeah, which one?
Can we go through the fight again?
Okay.
I don't have anything, everything in mind anymore. Well, probably before the ETC stun hits, because Anoop is already there. Yeah.
So I would immediately throw it on the Blaze right now.
Yeah, I think because I cleansed him earlier, I thought it was fine and I don't need to do it, but I guess I should have D-shielded him and not cleansed him.
Yes. So the way you want to use cleanse is that it's like the KTC chain we had earlier. You want to 100% be sure that they would have been hit by CC if the cleanse hadn't come out. So
okay.
You don't just want to cleanse because he's pressing his ult, but with D shield, that is a reason. So you can just throw the D shield, and the other team, it doesn't matter if they aren't going to throw stuff at him, because the combustion is going to come out. Combustion is, of course, it's not really good. This doesn't really do anything. But if he doesn't if he doesn't get cocooned, he can still throw his stuff. He can use his trade. He can use his turret.
Movement speed is surprisingly relevant for combustion.
Right.
Fair. Yeah, I'm not a combustion main, so I don't know about that.
But combusting makes me feel good.
So what I mean is, the moment that your Blaze finds a good flank, it's he isn't this comp. So there are two people you could de-shield, and that's on one side Vala if she's strafing in aggressively, but this was just a very passive strafe on the side. Or it's the Blaze if he finds a good flank. Okay, so I was going to say. Yeah, so here we see positioning wise. So you step away, you step to safety, exactly correct, and then you walk in. You don't even do anything; you just walk in. You again press your Q on an opponent when your Blaze could need a burst here.
Yeah.
You miss your W on your Blaze. So it's really important to apply the armor to your team, because we talked about this earlier. It's about armor makes health more effective, while Blaze is standing in a burning oil, so he's healing himself. So you use your armor to make his self-healing more effective. I think Q is on the wrong target. So this fight is a bit scrappy, but you always want to keep the priority order in mind. So if we look at these 4 heroes in your team, in which order would you save them? If all 4 of them were in danger at the same time?
Vala is my number 1 priority.
Yes.
Then I would say Malfurion.
Yes.
Blaze, and lastly Ming.
I would do this the other way around. But what's important is that you have to always keep your eye on Vala. So I know that in this moment you're watching your Blaze and you're throwing your Q on him. But if your Vala gets Kel'Thuzad meanwhile, that is your fault.
Yeah.
That's your fault for not saving. So, and the thing about Kel'Thuzad, why he's not really good, is that Kel'Thuzad doesn't just burst people, but he does like a big announcement. It's like a neon sign. You hear the chain. So this moment you should know that even if it's not Vala, even if Vala doesn't get hit, you know that Ming has a chain on her. So you should be looking at Ming.
Defiende este reino sin saciar. Quizá no soy el único prodigio aquí después de todo.
Okay, so one of the things that with Uther we have to always talk about, if somebody died in a fight and it's not Uther, you always have to ask yourself the question, should I have died instead? So this is a bit rough. I don't think you had the opportunity to die here. This is part of why I don't like this build too much. Because if you play E1, you have an actual way of forcing the other team to kill you.
Because I auto attack them.
Yeah, you just
and I'm in front of them.
You walk into them and auto attack them. If they don't kill you, you get ease, you get value, and if they kill you, you get trade value. And so, but the problem with this build is that you don't have a way of forcing the other team to kill you. So here you did not have an opportunity to die and get trade value.
Impresionante.
Sean parte del vacío oscuro. Sería prudente defender aquí.
Okay, finally a W for armor.
La carga volverá a ¡Bien hecho!
Sean parte del vacío oscuro.
Okay, so Blaze had his own unstoppable, but Let me quickly look at the situation again.
Bien hecho.
So the thing to remember is that your cleanse is a long cooldown if you don't auto attack anything. So if you're going to use it on Blaze, you have to make sure that it's actually needed. And because Blaze has a self cleanse, I would always think twice about using it on him. But here we're talking about the same situation as earlier, by the way. This is a really good D-shit moment. Because now the combustion didn't end up doing anything, but with the D-shield he would have been able to get it on them. But okay, so the D-shield should have been on the Blaze, that's fine, but what else should you be looking at in this fight? So the moment that you're not so as a support you're not really looking forward always, you also always have to look backward.
Yeah, and there's an ETC there in my backlane.
You want to look at the Vala. So in this case it was fine, but if the ETC stage dives in, you can definitely look to go on him. This was actually not a bad D-shield, by the way. Okay, so if you're going to bait it in a direction, you should step through it, I think. Okay. Oh, that's not a... It was a very early cleanse. You always want to wait for the animation of the chain.
Por supuesto que sí.
Yeah, that was too far forward for me.
I mean, we talked about you cannot make yourself a target, so of course the...
Yeah.
But so, I mean, you aren't Uther, so even though you get one shot and your team afterwards it looks bad, you have your trade, your team doesn't completely turbo boost the fight. Like, if this happens with any tank that's not Uther that dies first, this fight is an absolute disaster. But so because it's this actually works, and I think if Vala knows her limits better, this was actually playable. But yeah, I mean this just really isn't it. Yeah, I don't know. It's really always a problem with Uther comps that it's not just that Uther has to know what he's doing, it's also that Uther's team has to know how to play with him. And I can definitely tell this game that your team has no idea how to play around Uther.
Yeah, I mean I thought it was a bit risky to try it, but I just always wanted to play it, and I saw the chance, so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you said anything in... Oh, here you should have cleansed.
Yeah.
So it's the... often you want to be in voice with someone, or you want to make sure that they know in draft that they have to be aggressive. So in this game that the Vala knows that she can auto attack aggressively because she has 2 supports to bail her out. There's no reason to type this, by the way.
Yeah, I was frustrated because...
Yeah, so the problem is the moment that you're frustrated and you open chat...
it always ends terribly.
You tilt your team, so it's a downward spiral. First time we see it, Cocoon and Uther, I think is also part of not being a target for Cocoon. Yeah, I mean at this point I think here it just falls apart, right?
No.
So it's hard to say that this is only your fault, but it's really the team doesn't know how to play around the hero. You're making yourself way too much of a target. You're not playing out of vision. There wasn't a single acceptable D shield.
No.
Actually, never mind. There was one that was okay. So yeah, one of the things that I quickly want to talk about is the build, because yeah, I don't think that this build is good. So I quickly want to go over what I think is the build.
Yeah, so I know the other build, but I thought if I can't auto attack, it's not worth it. But I guess it's still worth it because I can make myself die and stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things is actually about specifically the level for oh wait, let's even. So let's say you want the Q range. You can still play a build that looks a bit like this. So what the thing, the level 4 talent is really good for every build, because remember what I talked about earlier with the, who was it, with the ETC, where you went for a stun, and then after the stun you can just walk back into safety. So you don't even, so I'm not gonna, you don't have to always play this one. The Q one is perfectly fine, but I would strongly suggest to not play Holy Shock.
Okay.
Because this, in the past, it used to be better when the Q gave yourself 25 armor and you had a bigger health pool. But currently, Uther is just too squishy for this playstyle. It just doesn't work. Yeah. Also, the if you play D-Storm, you always want to start with your E, so you want to in this order. You don't want to. Wait, where is it? Double cooldown. You don't want to walk up to someone and just D-Storm. What's one tech you can do? Okay. You can stun and you can use the move speed to get into a position for a storm. You can use the 25% move speed. Yeah. Specifically, also the this one, the damage reduction is really relevant. So that's really something to. I did not look at it closely in the game, but it's generally really something you want to think about. Yeah, just it's rough with Uther main tank. Like if your team doesn't really know how to play around it, but I mean I cannot recommend to play it. I think it's very demanding on yourself and it's very demanding on your team. But if you want to play it, definitely make sure that already in draft you tell your team who has to be the one who's aggressive. So in this game, you tell Vala to play aggressive.
Okay.
And that's basically the final thing is mentality. So if you think about not making yourself a target and staying back and protecting Vala, do you think it's fair to call yourself the tank?
Well, not really, I guess.
Yeah, that's the mindset that you have to see in the draft. Am I the one who's really the tank here, or am I supporting the Vala who is the real tank?
Yeah, I'm used to play different tanks who are more of those that actually can stand in front of my team.
Yeah, but
so I guess I need to adjust better. Yeah, it's just a mindset problem for me.
That is the Uther thing. That if you want to play Uther, you have to in every game you have to check: am I the tank or am I not? Just going to be honest, over the last year of playing Uther, I haven't had a game where I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely the tank.
Okay.
It's
hello, my name is main tank.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really that usually it comes out that somebody else is the. I mean, I guess I can quickly show the kind of draft where I play Uther, but yeah, Uther, there is a. In this game, for example, there's a Maiev with it. That is the real tank. So you yeah, that is the thing. You want to empower someone. But yeah. Yeah, I think talked mindsets, talked build, looked at the game. I think that's it. Unless you have any questions.
No, I think you just about covered everything I wanted to know about. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So if you spend more time with Uther and you want to have a look at a different game, feel free to message me for that. Yeah.
All right.
I think then
Thank
I'm gonna stop the recording.